welcome to another week's episode of Fun with Whole Foods. This week we're doing a vegan chocolate silk pie, which is another wonderful one to have on the side if you've got vegans coming for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, any of these wonderful events at this time of year. I've made mine gluten-free as well as vegan, and this is my pastry case that I've blind baked. So do check out my recipe for gluten-free vegan pastry. And I added a couple of teaspoons of cocoa powder to the pastry mix. But you can use any pastry base that suits you and the dietary requirements of yourself and people you're serving this for. So, oh god, where do I start? We're going to use a total of 1.5 cups of liquid, and we're using coconut cream and almond milk today. And because I want it to be a bit lighter, I've taken half a cup of coconut cream and I've whipped that as much as I can in ice water, because I read that was how you whip up coconut cream. So that, I'm hoping, will help lighten up the pie filling for the finished product. So I've pre-done that. So we're then going to take another half cup of coconut cream to get a cup in total. Now, one thing that does happen is I've just made pumpkin pie where I use half a cup of coconut cream, and there isn't quite 1.5 cups in this little sachet, so I use half a cup to whip. Then I get as much as I can into the half cup measure, which doesn't completely fill it, and I then top it off with almond breeze to get my full half cup. Pop that into a little saucepan, and then another half cup of almond milk to go in there. So if you want it a bit richer, you could use all coconut cream. If you want it a bit lighter, you could do a cup of almond milk. But it's chocolate silk pie, it's supposed to be thick and creamy and delicious and, what's the word I'm looking for? Thick, creamy, delicious. Indulgent. It's supposed to feel indulgent. So I'm going to start heating up coconut cream in the milk in that saucepan. I'm going to add just a cupful, it's about half a teaspoon of vanilla extract to that as well. Give the coconut cream a final little whip. Hopefully that will stand up. And use my whisk it. So we're going to set this with agar-agar, and if you don't want to use agar-agar, then you can use Dr. Oetker veggie gel. The two work very similarly, but I find the veggie gel really upsets my stomach, so I avoid using it. Now you have some choices for what chocolate to use. Obviously, to keep it vegan, you want to not be using chocolate with milk in, and I like using the Hotel Chocolat single serve for the velvetizer, because it's already grated and it melts really easily and quickly. And I very often use 100% to make my own hot chocolate and stuff, but I just found that wasn't quite sweet enough for the pie. So what I'm using is I'm going to use the dark 70%, which doesn't have any milk in, although Hotel Chocolat are really, what's the word that I want? Responsible. They say they can't guarantee for vegans because it is made in a factory that also does make milk chocolate. So get your own, I'd say 70% or higher, depending on how sweet you require it to be. And if you do need it a bit sweet, you can always add a bit of extra sugar or syrup of some description. I use the vanilla to sweeten. So the milk is now quite warm, so I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of agar-agar, And I'm going to whisk that into our milk and coconut cream mixture. I'm going to bring it up quite close to the boil until it starts to thicken. So it's quite noisy, I'm whisking metal on metal. You can see it's a bit fluffy. I know it's fluffy. And this whisk is really too big for first, but hey ho. So I don't know, do you guys have chocolate silk pie quite a lot? It's one of my favourites to do. You can always do this as a pudding if you don't want to faff about with the pie case, and just pour it into individual ramekins. I've not yet managed to get it quite fluffy enough for a mousse, but I'm sure someone will come up with a way of stabilising whipped coconut cream enough for that. I think this is a smaller saucepan that I used last time. It's taking longer. Let me just use this spoon for a minute. Yeah, you want to keep heating it until it starts to thicken. Agar will start thickening at around boiling point. It's kind of like making custard using bird's custard powder in that sense. And then it starts thickening, and then it will continue to thicken as it cools. So there we go, I've got it up to the boil. I don't want to boil it too hard. I've got it up to the boil. It should be thickening. Oh yeah, simmer until thickened. So we're now simmering it until it thickens, because unlike pumpkin pie, this isn't going back into the oven, so, which is why I've completely cooked our pastry case. So we want it to be thickened. It's not gonna get the chance to heat up and be thickened in the oven. But also we don't want to overcook the chocolate, so we're not putting the chocolate in until after we finish cooking through the agar. Put that a little too low. But yeah. Don't make this too far in advance, because the pastry does absorb liquid and it will start getting soft, slightly squishy pastry. I've got away with the night before, but you mostly want to be eating this within the evening of the day you make it. So there we go. Got this simmering nicely, it's starting to thicken. And once it starts thickening up, covering the spoon a bit more, you're ready to turn it off. And then to try and lighten it up, you want to be whisking it. Get as much air in it as possible as it thickens and cools. Ordinarily I will wander around the house for about 5 minutes whisking as it cools. What I'm going to do is I've got the ice water ready. Anyway, today, pop it in, the ice water start cooling, and thicken with our whisk. You get it to a point where you can fairly comfortably pop your little finger in there, and then we're going to add the chocolate. So 1 sachet from Hotel Chocolate, it's around 30 grams. Probably going to find something that says it's not next. You add that in. I've experimented between 1 sachet and 2 sachets, and it depends on how rich you want it. I find that 1 sachet is more than sufficient. I'll just show you the colour of that. So, and it thickens up, and kind of a chocolate pudding type consistency. How cool is that? So, it'll cool down. Now once you've got it relatively, you can comfortably keep your finger in there. It's a little over blood temperature. I'm going to add in the whipped coconut cream. To try and give it a little more lift. It's quite difficult to achieve lift and to get the lift to stay. I've tried folding it in, I've tried whisking it in, and it doesn't seem to make that much of a difference. So you've got coconut cream with a bit more air. You can see that it's quite thickened now. I'm going to pour that into our pie cake. Make sure we're getting it all out. Spread that as evenly as we can around and leave it completely cool before you cut and serve. So I'll just leave that for up to an hour, maybe 2, depending on how warm it was when you popped it in. And then we've got a beautiful vegan chocolate silk pie. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope that it is very popular at all of your holiday parties and meals this year. So I'll see you next week for another episode of Fun with Whole Foods.